I am very excited, and you should be too, because the Valda's Spire Player Pack thing, Valda's Spire Secrets Player Pack 2, is now out on D&D Beyond, and it's incredibly cheap if you already own the first one, or maybe the Gunslinger. One of the two. I own both, so I don't know which one it is. Either way, I bought it for $8, and that's awesome. And I do mean bucks. My European accent is completely irrelevant in the marketplace of D&D Beyond. Anyway, I'm going to go through the 7 new subclasses today and go through the rest of the stuff in a couple of days in a different video. So let's go ahead and get into it. My name is Jason. This is my channel Dungeon Himbo, where I talk about all sorts of things, including builds and reviews and DM advice, like, good stuff. Nothing came to mind. That's reassuring, isn't it? If any of that sounds good to you, like and subscribe, and you can also hop into the Discord to discuss some of this stuff with me and my wonderful Discord members as well. I'm nailing this. Let's just go ahead and look at the subclasses, shall we? I had to squish myself here in the corner. I feel like it's fine. Anyway, we have 7 new subclasses, and one of them, the first one in fact, is for the Gunslinger class, which is super cool. I'm really, really happy to see a new subclass for a third-party thing. It makes perfect sense, obviously, as the Mage Hand Press people also did the Gunslinger, which I love, and you can check out a review for it somewhere on my channel. If I remember, it'll be up here. I probably won't remember. So this is the pistol. Bullets are power, and you have long believed that more bullets equal more power. Your expertise in delivering a hail of deadly fire to pulverize your enemies is in. I missed an is. Not every bullet needs to be accurate to make a difference. Level 3, you get close quarters shooting. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with ranged weapons, which is handy because you don't have to take a feat for that now. You also get Fan the Hammer, which is a maneuver. You get risk dice as the Gunslinger, which go up as you level up. You can expend one of these to use your maneuvers. When you take the attack action with a ranged weapon that doesn't have the two-handed property, this could be a hand crossbow, a light crossbow, and a few others. Light crossbow two-handed? It is. So it could be a hand crossbow or a gun. You can expend 1 risk die as a bonus action to make 2 additional ranged attacks with that weapon. These additional attacks always have disadvantage regardless of the circumstances. You can't use the automatic mastery property with these attacks, and you must have a free hand to use this maneuver. Theoretically, although it says you always have disadvantage, you could cancel that disadvantage out if you had something like Fairy Fire, I guess. But then you'd only be rolling straight. I think it means you could, maybe not. Maybe it just overwrites everything. I don't know. Level 6, you get Disarm when you score a critical hit and trigger your Gut Shot feature, which lets you leave a bullet in someone, which is cool. You can disarm the target instead of lodging a projectile in it. The target drops 1 object of your choice that it's holding, with the object landing in a space of your choice up to 15 feet away from the target. That's sick. Level 10, you get another maneuver. When you roll initiative, you can expend 1 risk die to draw a ranged weapon and make an attack using it. Add the risk die to the damage roll. On a hit, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you for the first round of combat. That's really cool. Being able to attack immediately is a nice touch, especially if you are stacking up bonuses as most ranged martials do. And then the final ability, the final subclass feature is bullet time at level 14. Once on each of your turns when you make a ranged attack with a weapon, you can gain advantage on the roll. I don't love that as a capstone. There's a lot of really, really easy ways to gain advantage on attack rolls, but it is once per turn, and if you're using a weapon with Vex, that's basically just permanent advantage. Hard to argue with, for sure. All in all, I like the vibe this one is giving. 2 attacks with disadvantage as a bonus action is a nice little touch. Fits the vibe perfectly. I love the disarm feature. I think that's fantastically fitting, and I think it's also quite well designed. You still need to crit, but also you can pew someone's weapon away, which is amazing. Showdown is solid. Bullet time is good, but not very interesting. Next up is the College of Masks. I feel like we have one of these in D&D Beyond already from third parties, but I can't remember what it's called. Might be the College of Theatre or something along those lines. Either way, bards in the College of Masks are virtuoso performers who practice becoming the figures they portray rather than merely imitating them. Bards who join this college subscribe to the notion that all life is performed in a great play, and that all people wear metaphorical masks at all times. To engage in this great stage drama, a masked bard carries a number of persona masks, each bestowing the powers of a specific theatrical figure. Level 3, you get to learn to create masks, which allow you to take on part of the character. You can get 3 of your choice to begin with, and you gain an additional mask at level 6 and 14. You can also exchange one of these masks for another one when you finish a long rest, so you have access to all of them basically. As a bonus action, you can put on or switch the mask you are wearing, and if you If a mask is lost or stolen, you can remake it over the course of 8 hours, which can be done during a long rest. Along with that, you get Thespian at level 3 as well, which gives you proficiency with the disguise kit, and whenever you make a charisma performance check, you can add your bardic inspiration die to the roll without expending it. That makes you incredibly good at performance, possibly the best out there at that point. Level 6, you get Virtuoso Skill. Once per turn, when you make a d20 test, you can choose to make it with Charisma if the test doesn't use it already. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier and regain all uses on a long rest. That means you can attack with your Charisma if you want to, even if it's something you wouldn't normally be able to do. You can also make a stealth check with your Charisma or any other number of things. So that's a nifty little thing to have access to, especially with the Bard's Jack of all Trades feature, which gives you half proficiency in all your skills. It's a nice way to give that vibe of being even better at everything. And then at level 14, you get Master of Many Faces. You get to wear 2 masks at once, gaining both benefits. That's the end of the feature. Then we have our Persona masks. Angel allows you to, once per turn, when you do damage to a creature with an attack or spell, you can expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration die to deal extra radiant damage to the target equal to 1 roll of your Bardic Inspiration die, which is fine, but you're going to eat through those die very quickly. Archmage gives you access to a prepared spell list, basically. Firebolt, Scorching Ray, Thunder Wave, Lightning Bolt, Ice Storm, and Wall of Stone, which is a relatively solid list of spells to have just because, so not bad. Devil, when you take damage from a creature that is within 30 feet of yourself, you can expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration as a reaction to deal fire damage to the creature. It takes damage equal to 2 rolls of the Bardic Inspiration die, and you gain temp health equal to the damage dealt. That's better than the Angel one, because you're dealing more damage, ultimately, and you're also gaining some temp health. So, although reactions for Bards can be a little overcrowded. Dragon, as a bonus action, and when you put it on, you can expend a Bardic Inspiration die to exhale flames in a 15-foot cone. Each creature on the cone must make a dex save. On a failed save, it takes fire damage equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die, or half as much on a save. That's pretty mid. Faceless, 2 perfectly round eye holes stare out of this otherwise porcelain mask. Cool. When you wear this mask, you always have the Disguise Self spell prepared. When you start casting it, you can modify it so it doesn't require a spell slot. If you do, it takes a minute to cast, and its duration becomes 8 hours. The spell ends early if you remove the mask. Makes sense. Gladiator, the Grim Metal Helm, blah blah blah. I'm blah blah blahing through the flavor because I'm going to try and get this out today, and that's a lot of ask in not a lot of time. While you wear this mask, you get proficiency with martial weapons and shields, and as a bonus action, you can expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration die to make 1 attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike. It's nice to have the option, but the bards that only dip into this generally don't want to be doing stuff. The Hierophant, when you reach a bard level, this is prepared spells, but this is all healing spells this time. So Aid, Cure Wounds, Spare the Dying, Revivify, Death Ward, and Mass Cure Wounds. They're all solid. Jester, when you put on this mask and as a bonus action on each of your turns, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. You can also expend a use of your Bardic Inspiration to cast Vicious Mockery as part of this mask's bonus action, so you can run around a lot. That's pretty cool. That's actually very cool if you need to get out of danger. And the final one is Noble. You can use your Bardic Inspiration die as part of a bonus action to put this on. When a creature with your Bardic Inspiration die fails a d20 test while you wear this mask, it can roll the die twice and use the higher result. So that's great if you're doing a support thing. But this is a pretty flexible Bard subclass. The flavors are on point. I love the idea of using masks as a persona. There's no doubt either in my mind that this would go amazingly with a Changeling character, just because it's one of those masters of lots of things. No, it's a jack of all trades. It's literally a jack of all trades bard. I like that we have a fair few of these in D&D, but they never stand out in my mind especially. Next is the Dragon Domain Cleric. While dragons are the foremost worshippers of the Dragon Domain, the draconic deities accept the worship of any who crave wealth and power. Clerics of the Dragon Domain, often considered cultists, can channel the power and aspect of dragons, unleashing fearsome elemental magic and manifesting an awe-inspiring presence of an ancient worm. The principal gods of the Dragon Domain include Tiamat and Bahamut. You know those guys. Bad Mummy and the Good Daddy. I regret saying that. We'll move on. Level 3, get Chromatic Affinity. On a long rest, you can choose Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, or Poison. Whenever you cast a cleric spell or use a cleric feature that deals necrotic or radiant, you can change it to that damage type instead. That's a nice feature. And once per turn, when you deal damage of the chosen type, you can deal extra damage of the type equal to your cleric level to the creature. You can do this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. That's a nice little damage boost. An extra 20 damage is hard to argue with, right? It does say to a creature, which suggests that it is just one creature in each casting, so you can't fireball and add 20 damage, but it's not a bad thing either way. You also get the Dragon Domain spells. It's got Chromatic Orb, so it's obviously a great list, but you also get Command, which makes it an even better list. Dark Vision, which is fine. Dragon's Breath, which is, I love Dragon's Breath so much, but it's not great. Fly, protection from energy, banishment, charm monster, dominate person, and summon dragon. It's a relatively solid list. And level 3 as well. Clerics get so much at level 3, man. It's all the god stuff, isn't it? The power of worshipping stuff. As a magic action, you can present your holy symbol and expend a use of your channel divinity to manifest an aura, draconic authority around yourself and a 30-foot emanation. Choose frightened or charmed. Each creature of your choice must make a wisdom saving throw or have the condition for 1 minute, and it can make the wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Fitting. There are a lot of ways to benefit from both charmed and frightened at this point as well, so that could go really nicely for some builds. Level 6, you get Worm's Blessing. You can expend a use of your channel divinity to cast Dragon's Breath or protection from energy on your spell itself without using a spell slot. If you do so, it doesn't require concentration. Concentration-free Dragon's Breath is pretty tempting. Same with protection from energy, so that's a nice little feature. And then at level 17, you get Legendary Aspect. By conjuring the wings, claws, or tail of an ancient dragon, you can take one of the following legendary actions immediately after another creature's turn. Once you use this feature to take a legendary action, you can't take that one again until the start of your next turn, and you can only do this 3 times per long rest. You can also restore a use of it by expending a level 2 spell slot, no action required. Legendary actions on a character is super fun. I am here for it. Also, the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. So you can rend, you move and do a weapon attack, but you use your wisdom modifier for the attack and damage rolls. That's fine. It's not going to be that much damage, but it's also free, right? It's a legendary action. Tail swipe, each creature of your choice, which is large or smaller, gains the prone condition. There's no save here, so that's fantastic. And wing beat, you can gain a fly speed up to your speed, you can move up to your speed, and you don't provoke opportunity attacks. That's solid. I think they've nailed the vibes of the dragon here. I think rend could be better unless you've got a really good melee weapon. This is going to feel really underwhelming, but I like the rest of it. I don't know that it's that powerful, but it does nail the flavor, and I think that's one of the things that Valda's always comes out on top on. Just a loud bang somewhere in my house. I'm going to quickly check the camera for my child, because he's meant to be sleeping. He is still sleeping. Next we have the Circle of the City Druid. The Circle of the City draws its power from buildings, streets, and people. These urban druids make their homes in sprawling settlements far from the domains of the wild brethren. As urban druids' magic can twist the city into knots and raise maze-like walls and alleyways, they might leap from rooftop to rooftop, commune with doors and walls for information, or transform into a rat to go unseen. Very cool. Your spells are Grease, Jump, Shatter, Spider Climb, Meld into Stone, Sending, Fabricate, Stone Shape, Animate Objects, and Pass Wall. All make perfect sense. Not great spells, apart from Grease, which is a perfect spell, obviously. Level 3, you also get City Shape. You can expend a use of your wild shape to cast Meld into Stone, Pass Wall, or Stone Shape without a spell slot. I mean, you're at level 3, having access to a 4th level and a 3rd level spell is pretty tasty. Even though they are niche, hard to argue with access to higher level spells. You also get level 3 Urban Druid. You get Acrobatics, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Persuasion, or Stealth, and you get to gain a bonus to this checks equal to your wisdom modifier. You can change your selection on a long rest, so that's pretty flexible. And your magic takes on an aesthetic of urban landscapes. That's just flavor. But you can also target things that would normally target plants. No, so speak with plants, transport via plants, and tree stride can target structures instead of plants. That's really, really cool. I think this is the big one for the subclass. At level 6, you get object shape. This allows you to, when you wild shape, take on the form of an animated object, which can only be large to begin with, but at level 10 you get access to huge. Animate object is a cool spell. For large, you're getting an AC of 15, 20 health for the animated object itself. I can't remember how that interacts with wild shape normally because it's been a while since I've played a druid. And your damage is 2d6 plus 3 plus your spell casting ability modifier. So that can actually be a fair amount of damage for that hit, which is nice. Probably more useful than your normal wild shapes. Level 10, you get Wall Warp. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you takes damage from an attack, you can take a reaction to cast Wall of Stone between the target and the attacker. When you cast the spell this way, create a single 10 by 10 panel that is 1 inch thick, which disappears at the end of your next turn. The panel takes the damage of the attack and dissipates early if it's reduced to 0 hit points. You can only do this once per long rest, or you can use a level 3 spell slot to regain it. That's really, really cool. Being able to just protect someone from an attack could easily save someone's life, especially if it's a crit. Amazing, because it is when they take damage from the attack, so you can decide after you know how much damage it is, which is fantastic. And then Urban Colossus is the level 14 feature. When you do your animate object shape, not only can you be large now, but you also get an AC of 18. Once per turn, when you take less than 10 damage from a single attack or effect, you can reduce it to 0. You can attack twice instead of once. and you can move through the space of other creatures, which doesn't cost you extra movement, but you can't stop in the same space. If they're your size or smaller, they take 2d6 bludgeoning damage plus your wisdom modifier and become prone when you enter its space. You can only take this damage once per turn. That's fantastic. I really like that as a druid. You could do the... Is it Cementos? The My Hero Academia cement dude? I feel like you could make him using this subclass, and I might as a build. I like that. Beastborne, Ranger. We just had Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, and now we're getting this Bloodborne dude. This is a Bloodborne dude. You cannot convince me otherwise. Whether by infected bite or insidious curse, your blood was infected with a magic of lycanthropy. A ferocious bestial form lies just underneath your skin, awaiting the allure of blood and the thrill of the hunt. Perhaps if you can avoid the violence of the siren call of moonlight, you can resist the lycanthropic urge. Lycanthropic. Blah, blah. Or perhaps you might embrace the infection as a blessing or wield it as a fearsome weapon. Lycanthrope. Your true form is a bestial hybrid, granting you the following benefits. This is at level 3. You have a set of vicious claws, which you can attack using dex instead of normal strength. You do 1d6 plus your strength or dex, which is nice to have. You gain a climb speed equal to your speed, and you gain dark vision of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, it goes up by another 60 feet. That's pretty tasty. Like, that's a lot of potential dark vision. Also, unarmed druid. Cool. Ranger, sorry. Very cool. The only other unarmed ranger I can think of is the Indiana Jones one that Mystic Arts did. So this is a rare space. You also get bestial... Is it bestial? Bestial aspect? Bestial, I guess. The degree of your transformation... Sorry, we'll start again. In the throes of combat, you gradually lose control and slip into a beast-like form. The degree of your transformation is represented by your bestial aspect level. I guess we're going with bestial, which starts at 0. This level grants you benefits as shown on the aspect table, and you gain all the benefits of your level and lower. When you deal damage to an enemy, you can take a bonus action to increase your level by 1. If you don't deal damage to an enemy for 1 minute, your aspect level resets to 0. So this is just constantly on. You just have to be hitting people to do it. So 0, there's no benefit. Carnage at level 1 gives you a +2 bonus to your damage rolls with weapons and unarmed strikes. 2, you get an extra 10 feet speed. 3, you get advantage on attack rolls against any creature that doesn't have all its hit points. 4, if you're not wielding a shield, you get +2 bonus to your AC, so it's just a free shield. Now this stacks with your any other armor you have, so that's a lot of AC. And 5, when you take damage from a creature that's within 5 feet of yourself, you can take a reaction to make a melee attack against it using a weapon or an unarmed strike. Nice. That's a cool table. I love the vibe there and the mechanical benefits of being in a fight longer and becoming increasingly beast-like as you go. I think that's really, really interesting. Level 7, you get Feral Howl. When you roll initiative, you can roll a d4 and add and increase your bestial aspect level to the number rolled. Cool. Bloodthirsty Fury at level 11. You can cast Hunter's Mark as part of the bonus action to increase your bestial aspect level. Amazing. That's actually really clever bit of design, which gets around the bonus action congestion that rangers have. Doesn't get around Hunter's Mark not being great, but it's a little bit less bad when you can do it as part of something else. Your Carnage also goes up to +3 instead of +2, which is great. And at level 15, once per turn, when you take damage, you can reduce the total damage you take to a minimum of 0. The reduction equals your con mod plus your bestial aspect level, which is likely only gonna be like a 9 tops for most people, 10 if you've absolutely maxed out your con, which you could do. This isn't a spellcasting ranger, so there's no reason to go in for wisdom. I love this subclass, and it's not just because I love Bloodborne. I just think this is really, really cool. I think this is really interestingly designed. I think the idea of having all of this unarmed rage and also still being a ranger is amazing. And I think that there's some really cool multi-class potential here for barbarians or something as well. So yeah, I think this is extraordinarily cool. Next is the heroic sorcery sorcerer. You are the reincarnation of a legendary hero known to have slain many terrible foes, and your sorceress magic draws from your legendary past. Being called back to life, whether by the gods or a very powerful mage or a cycle of reincarnation, has awakened a well of magic and your ancient instincts for battle. You're an isekai protagonist, basically, which is quite funny. Heroic spells, you get Arc Blade, Burning Blade, Frigid Blade, Heroism, Magic Weapon, Mirror, and Image, and Shield. Haste, Phantom Steed, Death Ward, Stone Skin, Legend Lore, and Hold Monster. You can find out what those new spells are on Thursday when I do the video, but they're basically new blade cantrips, and they're cool. So, see you then. Level 3, you get Martial Sorcery. Look at this artwork, man. Your past heroic life grants you the following benefits. At the start of each of your turns, you can expend 1 sorcery point to gain temp health equal to 1d6 plus your sorcerer level. No action required. Fantastic. When you attack with a weapon with which you have proficiency while your innate sorcery feature is active, You can use a charisma modifier for the attack and damage instead of your strength or dex. That gets around the weird multi-classing stuff. And you gain proficiency, not multi-classing, multiple ability dependency. There we go. You also gain proficiency with martial weapons and training with both light, medium, and medium armor, as well as shields. Fantastic. This is the gish. In fact, it's so gishy that it gets extra attack at level 6, and you can swap one of your sorcerer cantrips, which has the casting time of an action for one of those attacks. Level 14, you get mystical maneuvers. These are 3 maneuvers which you can expend 2 sorcery points to activate as a bonus action. The first one allows you to blind a creature. The second one allows you to remove 3 points from their AC. And the third one allows you to give them a bleeding wound, which deals constant damage. Each of these, both the blinding attack, which blinds people. Blinding attack has a con save attached to it, but the AC penalty does not, and the wounding strike also does not, but the creature can take an action to remove all of the wounds. So, pretty nifty. And finally, you get heroic haste, which doesn't sound like much. There's not much text here, but I think it's pretty powerful anyway. When you start casting haste targeting yourself, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, when the spell ends, you don't have the incapacitated condition or a speed of 0. Aside from the fact that this lets you cast haste on 2 creatures, yourself being one of them, which is fantastic with everything you can do, it also removes the downside of haste, which is pretty fantastic. So it's world-shakingly powerful, but I think it's probably strong enough. And then the final subclass is the Magic Missile Mage, which is a wizard subclass. Magic Missile is a staple wizard spell beloved for its versatility and unerring accuracy. As a missile mage, however, your fondness for the spell borders on obsession. Your studies focus entirely on the spell, exploring every aspect of its casting, resulting in new augmentations and greater power. I love someone with a hyperfixation. It me. Level 3, you get Magic Missile Savant. You get to add the spell to your spell list, and your expertise allows you to change it slightly. So when you cast it, you create extra darts. You create 1 extra dart at level 3, 2 extra darts at level 6, 3 extra darts at level 10, and 4 extra darts at level 14. That's pretty good. That means at level 14, if you use a level 1 spell, you're creating 7 darts. So you're doing 7d4 plus 7 damage for a 1 level spell. That is hard to argue with. You can also cast Magic Missile without expending a spell slot, a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. You gain 1 use on a short rest, and all use is not a long rest. And your magic missiles do go through shields and so on that might stop it. So nice. Level 6, you can add additional effects to your magic missile, basically. If you expend 1 dart, you can have the creature you hit make a strength save or have the prone condition. 3 darts lets you blind them for the con save, and 5 darts lets you potentially stun them. 5 darts is a lot, but the stun condition is quite powerful. It's an interesting way to do things. Level 10, you get Shield of Missiles. When you cast Magic Missile, you can direct the darts in a tight orbit around yourself, creating a protective 10-foot emanation, which lasts for a minute. You gain a bonus to your AC equal to the number of darts orbiting you up to 5. So you can't have like plus 12 AC. And whenever a creature within 120 feet misses you with an attack roll, 1 dart strikes the attacker, dealing damage as normal, and decreases the number of darts orbiting you by 1. Whenever the emanation enters the space of a creature you can see, or a creature ends its turn there, you can strike the target with any number of darts orbiting you, dealing damage as normal and decreasing the number of darts orbiting you. You can damage a creature with this only once per turn. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, or you expend a level 3 or above spell slot. It's really interesting, but I worry it's too costly, because you're losing the darts as you do it, and you can only do it once per long rest. Whereas I don't think it's that strong to do that as many times as you want per long rest, but maybe I'm undervaluing it? Let me know what you think. The final feature here is Giga Missile. When you cast Magic Missile, you can enhance the damage of the spell. You can deal extra force damage with each dart equal to your intelligence modifier. Once you use this feature, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of it by expending a level 6 or above spell slot. For reference, if you cast this with a level 9 spell slot, you're getting 3, so 3 for level 1, plus 4 for your levels, that's 7, plus 8. So you've got 15 magic missile darts. You can add 5, you're doing 6 damage per those. 6 times 15 is 75. Plus 15d4, which is an average of 2.5, plus 15 is 25, 37 and a half. That's a lot of damage. You're doing over 100 damage with that, which is probably not worth it, but it is cool. Also, look at the artwork. You can't tell me you don't want to play as that. Oh, overall, I really like the subclasses here. I think they're a lot less comedy focused than the first player pack, which I know wasn't for everyone, and I think that's probably a good thing for those people. It didn't bother me, but I can appreciate how not everyone wants to play a meme class. But I really like these. I think they're incredibly cool. I think the flavor's on point as always. And it's hard to argue with 7 brand new subclasses, ultimately. Especially one being for the Gunslinger. We just don't see that kind of thing for third-party classes, even from third-party publishers. So I'd love to see more Monster Hunter subclasses, for example, from Grim Hollow. I can only hope. But yeah, I think it's well worth it just for the subclasses, but we will go over the rest of the stuff in my next video on Thursday, so look forward to that. That is it for this video, though. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. You can also become a member if you want to help support me. You get access to a little thing in Discord, a little group, and I have a Patreon as well, which you can check out, which I chuck stuff up on there as often as I can. But that is it for me. I hope that you are well, and you continue to do well. I hope that you're having a wonderful week. Remember to hydrate, it's incredibly warm at the moment, and I will see you whenever it is that I next see you. Do take care of yourself. Goodbye. Oh, check out other videos. My head's already tilted, it's too late now. Just do that. Bye.